Okay, so just to catch up, this week has felt to me a bit better than the previous 2 weeks where we were going through the hectic energy storms. So I felt that our energy levels are picking up, mood is picking up a bit, and yeah, just a bit more inspiration and happy news coming our way. Does anybody want to share what they've been going through this week, if things are different or worse for them?
Yeah, I agree. The energy is definitely picked up. The last month has been hell. So for the first time, I feel like it's lightened a little bit.
Okay.
And it's starting to sort of ease off.
But we understand why it was so difficult, hey? So let me just explain to Ashley and Marissa, if you didn't have time to watch the other videos with all your packing going on. The energy storms that we've been going through has been throwing us into different timelines from this lifetime, past and future, especially past timelines where we went through interesting stuff. Just show us who we were back then and that we are not those people anymore. We don't have the same belief systems anymore, but also just to bring our attention back to not falling back into old patterns. The angels keep reminding me and my clients through me that those things that are triggered within us at this stage show us where we keep returning to the harsh male energy. So again, it's not all male energy that's like that. There is a balance, but we are trying to balance out the harsh male energy that we also use against ourselves by pushing ourselves too hard or expecting ourselves to be in control and to control an outcome, and all kinds of things like that. So we are busy with this process of bringing in the divine feminine. Actually, you will find the previous recordings on my YouTube channel if you want to go and listen to that and catch up on all the information. But now, like we said last week.
I did actually watch last week's one.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Ashley.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't have to repeat a lot. But just to tell everybody, as we said last week about the feminine energy rising and the soul energy being attached to the spinal fluid, I just realized that this feminine energy is coming through so strongly. And I've seen it this week in beautiful ways, actually. I had a mum, long-time client of mine, that said to me on Monday, her son came out to her and said that he doesn't feel comfortable in his male body. He's 19 years old. And he says he has never identified as male. And I said to her, well, with all the feminine energy rising, there's no way he can hide it to the world anymore. We all have to reclaim our feminine energy. And it doesn't mean all males do it in that way. There's male energies, the men also have to tune into their more comfortable side, the nurturing side, the compassionate side, not going into anger. And you all would have seen the last couple of weeks, the anger was like, we all just fell back into that anger pattern. But it's to be aware. Something Michael is just reminding me of as well is the excuses. We have so many excuses to not follow our soul's path. So this feminine energy is rising. It's very much stuck in our root chakra, in our womb energy, where it's been suppressed all these, well, hundreds of years. And so it's very important for us to bring through that energy to come and create a new consciousness. But I'm just going to allow Archangel Michael to come and say what he wants to say. So because I didn't receive the information today while I had migraine, it was very interesting to me. So It feels like he wants to communicate it directly to you. Okay. Let's take a sip of water. Dearest children of the light, we come to you tonight to explain, to help you to understand what the world is going through, what your physical bodies are going through. And all of you that are present and will listen to this recording are part of the advanced souls that has come to earth to help shift the energy, to help create the change. And we want you to know that we are your backup. We are there fully transformed behind you to assist you on this path of recreating life on earth. And yes, it is difficult. Anything where you have to go through the process of death to be reborn has an amount of difficulty to it. And especially to your physical bodies. And as your bodies take strain, we ask of you to not fall into a space of worry and fear as to what is happening to your body. We also ask of you to be patient. There are reasons why you have been eating more, why you have been accumulating. The process that is happening within your spine, within your physical body, for now needs to be protected from the energies of the outside world. You are busy with two processes at once. The one process on 3D level is where you assist the body, the emotional and the mind to transform from operating out of a space of the male harshness, having control issues and anger and stress and war. But your soul is on a completely different path, which still incorporates this, but it is so much more. While the physical bodies are attuning to the feminine energy, allowing the DNA to change to accumulate more soul energy on the physical plane, the soul is on its own path of ascension. And we are all calling to all of those that are busy with this process to align with neutrality, to align with not knowing. Because the less you control and the less you want to predict an outcome of where your life is going or needs to be going, the more you will allow the feminine energy to settle into your being. Because that is your natural self. You are born of the Divine Mother. And in many worlds and in many lifetimes, you've made the transition to aspire to a higher and higher level, expanding more and more. And so it is difficult to be in an earthly body once more, being forced to be small, dealing with energies that you are not used to anymore. Judgment, fear, survival. But this is why you need to be present and not fall into the memory loss. And that is where your higher process comes in. To live a path of purity, to walk the path of ascension so that your soul can transpire to a higher level still. And this is why the feminine aspect, which was a very important part of creation, because without the feminine, there cannot be creation. There cannot be aspiration, inspiration, and creativity. And we see humanity, the human race, falling into disassociation with their soul purpose. And the tipping point is being reached because there are so many unaware souls on earth right now abusing the mother planet. And as the tipping point is reached and all falls into chaos, you will be ready to stand in your true power, ready to be the ascended ones, to spread love and care and nurturing all over the world. And remember that Mother Earth is as much a part of the Divine Mother as you are. The more you align yourself with the love of the Mother Earth, the more you align yourself with the feminine energy, which is the rebirth of the planet. And this is why your higher path, your higher purpose is all about purity. Not taking part in anything that pollutes the body to the soul. For whatever enters into the body which is not in harmony with the planet will hinder your path of ascension. Can you not see that you are bringing spirit back to earth? You are helping all of humanity to remember. And for that, we need you to remember. And it is simple. We want you to remember to be good to yourself, to practice self-love, self-awareness, and to be an example of that on earth. And the more you harmonize your body with this compassion and beauty, the more you will feel yourself harmonized with the planet. And you will remember the full content of your journey since the beginning of time. And there is nothing that we expect of you but to stay humble and stay present, to stay aware every day of what you think, what you say, what you do, and to be proud of the soul that you are, and that when others look at you, they do not see a human that has forgotten the eternal self. They see the eternal self that has embodied a human. It is time to trust. It is time to surrender more than ever before. This is not a time to wonder where things will be going or what the results will be. When a storm hits, the safest place is in the stream. be part of the stream so that you are not caught unaware when everything falls to pieces. And by that we mean that everything that the humans have set in place over many years, the dogma, the rules, the wars, discontent, all of that will fall apart. And it will be up to the ones that knows their soul truth to lead the earth back to harmony. Okay, that was long and a bit weird. Anybody have any questions? Sandra, is that a Chewbacca behind you?
No, it's a painting.
A
So
painting of Chewbacca?
no, it's a painting of a lovely young guy laughing.
Okay, I can't make that out.
Yeah, the light is, I've got only a lamp on.
Okay, so let's try and make sense. Yeah, Sandra, do you want to ask something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, well, I just wanted to ask about this kind of, this polluting the body. So I've noticed recently that foods I've been able to eat in the past, I suddenly can't eat at all anymore. And so I'm seeing for the first time ever, a really, really, really big physical shift. I mean, is that part of this energy that's suddenly kind of pushing through?
Well, this energy has been coming for a while, and it has certainly become more intense because we are supposed to start living this now. We can't pretend to be living it anymore. It needs to become a lifestyle. So let me just see, there was something that needed to be said. Remember, we are here to change our physical DNA. So that when we do reincarnate or humans come back after us, that the DNA is completely shifted into space where we can access more soul energy into one body and live more of a soulful life on earth. So we are actually like the experiments, and we are trying out what works and what doesn't work. But no, to the angels, it's quite simple. It's just to live in purity and to choose only foods of the highest amount of life energy. It's difficult on earth right now, but we've spoken a lot about what kind of foods not to eat. But yes, the more sensitive we become, the less we will be able to eat. So, but I mean, it is in line with what our bodies actually need. It's just we've got all of these excuses as to why we need to eat a certain thing. Is there anything specific that you've seen that you can't eat anymore?
Any kind of fish. I can't touch it at all.
Yes.
And also, I mean, for some time I've been boiling water and putting it onto, with crystals and the flower of life, and cannot have water that does not come through that process. Can't touch tap water, can't need it. I just can't hold it in my body at all. So I've spent a lot of time with my head down the toilet in the last month or so. So yeah, interesting for me.
Yeah, that is interesting because Michael is saying to me, you know, that the water that is being handled by humans right now, supposed to be purified, is also attracting the energy.
Yeah.
So if people that aren't pure enough, and this is not a judgment, it's just people that are unaware is handling our water and our food, it will take on that energy. And so it's actually a good thing that you mentioned it. We must be very aware of blessing our food, especially as we prepare it, and our water. And being aware of the life energy in it. And yeah, so again, not eat anything that does the world harm. And this is why I've also been able to eat fish still, but that's also going because the water is really becoming our teacher. And I keep experiencing the Divine Mother energy as the ocean energy, the water energy. So we are just becoming so in touch with the water energy that we cannot eat sea creatures anymore as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. No, thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's all about, you know, being prepared to see how we abuse the world. And I mean, I'm not one of those fanatic vegans or whatever. Yes, I will try and save trees. I will stand in the way of a tree if you want to cut it down and things like that. But I don't want to do it out of judgment. And being a vegan as well. Me, it's just this is our soul path, and if we don't wake up to it, you won't be busy with your ascension process. So, and something that came out of my mouth the other day in the yoga class, and luckily Natasha knows me and she knows it's not a judgment towards her. She was saying to me that she's busy with this diet where you have to put certain foods together. And I asked her, oh, what kind of foods? And she said, no, but it won't interest you because you have to eat meat. And I said, oh, well, I'm less concerned with my weight than with letting my soul down. That was actually interesting that that came out of me because it feels like we all have gained a bit of weight, as if we have been eating more to protect what is happening inside. So I think most of us are in that space of, oh gosh, I've got a couple of kilos to drop. But like they explained, you know, this is just part of the process. In the end, we need to trust. It doesn't mean we shouldn't look at what we eat, but we need to trust the process and really look at what is important in being true to the self and how the soul decided to manifest on earth. And I mean, what is really our truth? I said to a friend of mine the other day, I'm starting to look like one of those fertility dealkies. What do you call it? Statues with the boobies that hangs and the layers of fat on the tummy. But I mean, in ancient times, that was the beauty of the feminine. So we have so many things that we have to redefine again, and just to what makes you happy. Where are you happy? And I think so many of us are looking for that skinny body whilst your bones aren't actually shaped to be in a skinny body. And you will just eternally get yourself unhappy to want to diet, try and create that skinny body. Anyway, any other questions there?
Belinda, can you see me on the screen?
No.
I don't know how to do this. I don't actually know how to put myself on because I want to show you something, but I'm not sure how to get my picture on here.
Isn't there a video? if you drag your mouse down to the left side bottom screen, there should be a video button.
So there we go.
Oh, there you are.
Ah, okay. So
Hi,
I'm on my
Ashley.
phone, but hi, I want to ask you, this is what happened as you started channeling. And it happens to me quite frequently, as I connect in meditation or, well, whenever but it was like instantly as you started connecting with Archangel Michael, but it's not letting go yet. So it's great that I was able to show you. And it's been happening, I think, since lockdown. And I'm just not, I thought maybe if you could, so no, it's like, so it does different,
Okay.
it does different things completely. This is just one for now. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if anybody can, it just holds it there, but it does
That's the
different
mudra
ones.
for the heart chakra.
Okay. Okay, so it does different, it's almost mudra. Somebody said to me, it may be a language. In one of the healing sessions I did, that's what came through that it was. So I just thought, while I have you on screen, I might just ask. So
Yeah,
there it
so
is.
I know that's the mudra for the heart center, or there's different ones for the heart center, but the basic ones that you only do with your fingers.
Okay, so this, it
So
does it by itself.
yeah, let's see what Archangel Michael says. Give me a moment.
Okay.
Your body is already starting to connect to past lifetimes where you were busy with your ascension process. And this is why we need you people to show up. Through Belinda, we have invited people to come to Ireland, because this is where you had that first lifetime as Druids, where you lived the ascension process, where you taught it, and then it was forgotten. Your souls have come back to rise back into it. And as a group, we need you to show up, be aware of it, and bring it back to your life. Your bodies are responding. Your souls are remembering and conveying the information into the body. And this is why it's so important that you purify the body with the right food, the right thoughts, the right actions, the right speech, the right intentions. We cannot say this enough. You are starting to remember, but we need to show you what to do with the remembrance. There is a purpose. We need you to show up so that we can create that on a higher level than ever before. So does it make sense, Ashley?
Yes. Thank you.
So what the angels have been starting to do is, I said to them, they are not allowed to use me like last time before Ireland, where I had to tell people that you are invited. Please make a difficult decision and show up. People didn't like that. So I said to the angels, I'm not doing that again. And they said, well, they will explain to people why it's so important. So it's that different levels that we have spoken about, that Michael have spoken about, is that we are busy in the 3D with this transition from the male energy to the feminine energy. But on the higher level, we are busy with our own ascension. And we need to activate or tune into that soul ascension and bring it down and incorporate this 3D process into it. And one of my clients actually said, but Ireland doesn't feel right to her. She feels Scotland. She'll go to Scotland. And then Archangel Ashtar actually said to her, he reminded me that I wanted to go to Scotland first, because that was also where I was drawn. And over 5 years of planning this trip, do you remember, Marissa? It should have been Scotland. And then, well, in the beginning, I was still doing it alone. And then I was doing it with Mike, and he was in Ireland. And we started incorporating Ireland. And then it was Brexit. And then we scrapped Scotland and only did Ireland. But so it evolved into what it needed to be. And Ashtar said, Scotland is step 2. We cannot access our Scotland knowledge and energy if we don't go to Ireland first. And a lot of us that are being called to go in this group doesn't have the money. I don't have the money for sure. Or people don't have the time, or they think there's something else I need to do first. So we've got all of these excuses. But what Ashtar said is, if we let ourselves down, or if we don't show up for doing things like this, then we are going to let ourselves in our own ascension process. Does your hands drift up as well on its own?
Yeah.
Mine also does that when I'm in deep meditation. My arms just begin to float, and sometimes my legs as well.
And I actually saw while you were speaking, your lip moves up. Mine does that too. It's like suddenly sitting there and I feel like I'm Elvis. It's just interesting. I mean, half the time my eyes are closed, so I don't really know what's going on until, I'm finished. And then sometimes it will hold it for longer. So, I mean, it's still not letting go. It's just doing its thing,
Yes.
So, and it's tight.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, yeah. So
no,
it's
I understand that.
I didn't know about the whole island thing. This is the first time actually hearing of that.
You're new to me, but
yes.
we did
actually no. I have your deck of angel cards that a friend gave me. So I know of you, but I didn't know that you were doing this until a friend told me like 10 days ago.
Oh, awesome.
And then I got the invite last night. Yeah.
You have the Archangel cards or the angel cards?
Let me have a look.
Ask the angels.
Ask the angel. Ask the archangels.
Okay. So now there's a wolf wisdom. There's an Ask the Angels one as well, and there's a wolf wisdom cards now as well. Sandra, yours have been posted yesterday. I can't hear you. Your speaker is off.
I got the notice it arrived at the post office today. I haven't been to pick it up yet, though. I'll do it tomorrow.
I haven't sent anybody their numbers today because I was in bed. So I thought people might receive their packages before I sent the numbers. Anyway.
I got my notification too today.
Cool. So the Ireland thing is all about our higher process, our ascension process. And they need us to go as a group of very special souls, because this is what we signed up for. But they need us in groups, because the stronger the group, the greater the energy that is generated, the more downloads we receive within ourselves to bring back to Africa and to our homes and to help to transform the consciousness. So we are actually being called to do this very selflessly, is what Ashtar said, because we are doing it for the world, but also very selfishly, because we are doing it for our own ascension. And this is where we don't want to let our souls down. Okay. So, like I said before, we may be in the space where we are in our ascension lifetimes. And so I've got that feeling in myself that I don't want to let my soul down. I showed up for this for a reason, and I need to do this and be done in this lifetime. Especially, I mean, is not going to be this time on earth again. The energy that is happening now for us to transform the world, it's now or never. Because we are moving towards that tipping point, we need to show up. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
About our ascension process. Do you guys understand the concept of ascension? I don't think I completely understand it yet. Yes, Anne-Maria?
Yeah, I wanted to ask if you can talk a little bit more about what do you understand around ascension and the process and the importance of it?
Okay. So in a bit of research that I went to do was first mention of ascension was actually from early Christianity before it became dogmatic. If you think of King Solomon and his temple, you all will probably remember about the veil to the highest of highest. I can't remember what the name was. The place where only the high priests were allowed to go, where the Ark of the Covenant stood. So when you go to the more authentic teachings, that was a space where it was said people could ascend or go into the spirit world and come back again. So, sorry, Marissa?
Sorry, and come back what?
And come back to
Going
earth again.
Oh, okay.
They actually say that's how Eli and Elijah and Jesus ascended. So, and it's also said that Mother Mary, she wasn't just some woman. She was actually an initiate in the Temple of Solomon. She was one of a couple of maidens, virgins. They actually created the curtain, or I don't know what the word was, for that veil between the highest and the most high part of the temples, of the temple. So she was actually being prepared to receive this higher soul into her body. That's Jesus. So there's so many things that we do not know that was taken from, the Dead Sea Scrolls and all the books of the Bible that was excluded by the Roman Catholic white men around the table. Anyway, so the word ascension, what the angels actually said to me this morning as I was talking to a friend was that we cannot fully comprehend it right now. In Buddhism, it's that getting out of the wheel of life, getting out of the incarnations and not having to come back. So that's where you purify your soul so much that you can become part of the Godhead again. But like I say, we cannot fully understand unless we get back there. And so what the angel said to me this morning as I was talking to a friend about this is that as long as we are in this 3D process, we cannot even fully understand the meaning of our ascension process. And this is why we have to show up. And something I didn't finish before was when my client said that Scotland doesn't make sense because it doesn't feel, or Ireland doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right to her in her heart. A very interesting thing that Archangel Ashtar said to her and me, because this is all new information to me, is that even the way that we perceive spirituality in this 3D layer, where we've learned to trust that feeling of what feels right and what not, At this stage, we are overriding it with the mind and calling it our spiritual guidance, because we've already decided what we want or what we don't want. So at this stage, even the old way of being spiritual isn't pure enough anymore. And that's holding us back from actually showing. And this is the scary part, because if all of us say, I don't want to show up because it doesn't feel right, or I can't, or this is in the way, or I don't believe that it's possible, then, for me, it's scary that what's going to happen. It's easy to say we just trust in a good outcome, but the angels have said to me before, as above, so below. So as below, so above. So what happens on the earthly plane also affects the heavenly plane. And I'm sure, though we can't understand it now, there's a reason why so many evolved souls are on earth right now. This is important. And we need to start showing up. And we need to stop hiding behind excuses. Yes, Sandra?
So if you're not relying on your feelings, your gut feel on kind of what is right for you, then what should you be using? I mean, what is the kind of...
So I think it's still the gut feel, but we've become so strong and empowered in the spirituality that we almost impress our will on it before, if it makes sense. So it's again to purify it. Yeah. So what Michael is showing me there is that, so many times people say, but that's their gut feel, but it's because they already overthought the whole thing, and they are already committed to their excuse. That makes sense. So that's why the previous time with the island tour, and I explained to the people, why it's so important for them to go and why it has to be a difficult decision and all of that. And they fully understood the message. And I thought, wow, okay, they are going. And then they would just let me know, no, they've decided, the other thing they have to do that time of the year is more important, or whatever. It's fine. It's their free will, it's their choice. But it's scary how easy we override it and not show up. It shows me how unaware we still are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's that whole kind of tussle between the 3 and the 5D. It's like you keep getting sidetracked with the 3D stuff, instead of actually just focusing on where the soul needs to be right now. And then everything in the 3D just falls into place if you do that. I mean, I've seen that over and over, but it doesn't stop me getting sidetracked into 3D, I mean, it still happens.
Exactly.
So, life happens, things happen, people get ill, and, you need to respond instead of doing, but it, actually, I mean, I found I was having a really hard time about 2 weeks ago. And so, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 days, I just detached from everything. And I've spent sort of 3 or 4 hours in meditation a day, just to kind of reconnect back. And it's amazing how these things just disappearing on the outside, they're just kind of falling away. The things that were so preoccupying me 10 days ago are just kind of one by one, and it just sometimes you got to remember that. I mean, it's not always easy to, but,
Yeah, it's like multitasking, because we need to be constantly aware where the mind is going. What is the mind keeping itself busy with? What are the emotions doing? Am I suppressing my emotions? Am I allowing it to flow? There's so many things that's keeping us stuck in that lower vibrational space. But this is also Michael is saying, but those things are showing us where we are stuck. It is making us more and more aware how stuck we are. And this is why these energy storms were so important, because it was throwing us back and forth into our stuck spaces. And this is why the body is struggling so much. Because, you know, we are just reattuning everything on the physical to be open. But we can visualize inviting more soul energy and becoming purer. But then we can't use excuses anymore to eat certain things that's not in line with allowing more soul energy into the body. Okay, so if there's any other questions, now is the time before we start with the meditation.
Belinda.
Yes.
So I'm aware the time is also limited, but at some point it would be lovely to hear more about the importance of Ireland. And you mentioned Druids. I'm not familiar with that concept. So, yeah, I'm not sure if tonight's the night, but it would be lovely to hear more about that.
Okay. So the Druids were the people in early Ireland. They weren't the native Ireland. The Irish, sorry, they weren't the native Irish. It is said that they traveled from places like Iran, where I think that's almost the space where the early Sumerians come from. So I don't have my facts straight right now. But these people traveled and started inhabiting Ireland and Scotland. They lived very close to the land. They were the people that lived using herbs as medicine and teaching people how to live pure lives. But then they were all killed by the Romans. So these advanced souls that keep reincarnating at different times, like the Sumerians as well, at different times on Earth, that's trying to bring through this higher wisdom to help and guide humanity. And every time it has failed. And now is the time again. And this is why we are here to help with this. And the purpose of Ireland is go and reconnect to those lives that you've had there very early, some of your first lifetimes on Earth, where you lived in harmony with nature, with the sun and the moon and all of that before Christianity told us to believe differently. And like I said, the serpent is actually the beautiful feminine energy. And in Kundalini, it's that rising feminine energy, which in Christianity was then, you will see it all over Ireland, how Saint Patrick killed the snake and drove all the snakes out of Ireland. So that is just saying in a way that they overcame all of the pagan religions and they forced it into Christianity. So it's about, you know, going back to before dogma and to realize that our souls have had a higher purpose where we weren't told what to do or being controlled in what we are doing. And yeah, like I say, we can only fully understand that when we take ourselves there and put ourselves in that space to go and access that again, because we have to go and access it with the physical body that we are in, because we are transforming the DNA of this body. Does it make sense?
Yes, thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So
you find the Druids also in all the Celtic religions, like right across, not just in Ireland, but also in England. I mean, the whole of Devon, all the way up to, I mean, through that sort of south part. I mean, I suppose it leads into Ireland. I mean, is all originally Celtic. I mean, you still have Druid Lane and you have all the Druid symbols and signals and yeah.
Yes. So I don't know why the angels say Ireland is the first step, but I mean, I trust them. So, and then the next year I'll be taking a group to Scotland and probably then through England as well. I don't know. The angels haven't shown me that far ahead. So maybe it will be other countries. But we'll see as we go what needs to happen. I just try and show up for what is right in front of me. One thing at a time is enough. Okay. So I think make yourselves comfortable. You can turn off your cameras and maybe turn off your lights and lie down if you want to. And I'm going to allow, let's see if it's going to be Archangel Michael. But afterwards, I am going to leave you to stay in your meditation and allow you to come back on your own time. And I'm just going to gently and silently leave the meeting. Sorry, I get so distracted by Sandra's picture of that rock. I don't know what that rock's name is now.
It's Monument Valley. It's the Navajo lands.
Yes.
In the US. Yeah, it's Monument Valley. It's the most famous of all of the American Indian, hugely holy place. That's why you're drawn to it.
You know what, Sandra? When Odin passed away, my first wolf, my first soul experience of him, I was running with him and he was taking me to that rock. And I've never wanted to go there or was attracted to it. Because it looks very dry. I'm never attracted to dry places. But we ran and he took me underneath into a cave underneath that rock where I met this beautiful mother, divine mother energy for the first time.
Oh, wow, that's
so
amazing.
I can't,
and
I
you know,
just
wolves
can't
are
take
so
my eyes off
integral.
it.
Yeah, wolves are so integral to American Indian traditions and medicine wheels and medicine men. I mean, it all comes with. That's really amazing.
And actually,
I'll send you some beautiful pictures I've got of it.
Yes. And actually, there were a lot of wolves in Ireland. Unfortunately, the Queen of England, when they turned against the Roman Catholic Church after Henry VIII, they started paying people to bring the heads of priests. And if they couldn't get a head of a priest, they would pay them for the head of a wolf. And so the wolves in Ireland were also exterminated. Anyway, maybe I will take them back. Let's just close our eyes and just become comfortable. You can lie down if you want to. Take a deep breath in and out. Deep inhale, extending the stomach. And exhale with a sigh. One more time, deep inhale. And exhale. And the more you become aware of your body, the lighter you feel. Allowing the body to drift. Imagine your arms becoming light. As if they are floating upwards. The whole body relaxing and releasing. Imagine that you're drifting into the beautiful night sky. Feeling completely safe and protected with the stars and the Milky Way above. Imagine that you're drifting like a balloon, lighter and lighter, drifting upwards, floating away towards the stars. And it is in this beautiful night sky where you are greeted by a beautiful ancient creature, the most beautiful dragon that you have ever seen, floating on the wind, on the currents of air towards you. This is your spirit dragon, supporting you in waking up your feminine energy, rising in the tides of consciousness. For dragon is the connection between the lower vibrational energy on earth and the higher vibrational energy of the spirit world. And the dragon is your gateway, taking you between the worlds. Look into his or her eyes. See the color of their scale. Allow yourself to touch your hand to their forehead, to their brow. Connect, to say hello, to receive their name and a message. This beautiful creature knows what you need. Allow yourself to ride on your dragon's neck over the earth to a beautiful place, mountains and lakes. Imagine settling down on a beautiful mountain peak, looking up at the night sky. In the valley below, there's a lake like a mirror, the stars shining back at you. It is in this space where you allow yourself to connect with your root chakra into Mother Earth. Visualize yourself sitting on the soil, on the grass, as your dragon folds itself around you, protecting you from the outside world. Feel the energy of the earth element through your body like ripples as you feel Mother Earth humming into your space, into your physical body, allowing the earth's vibrations to wake up the energy sleeping in your spine, and a gentle wind tugging at your skin, your hair, the wind energy inspiring the rise of the energy as you breathe and you focus in allowing the energy to move up your spine, And now you see the sun rising, glinting beautifully pink and gold on the lake. The sun warming you up with its fire energy, bringing the serpent energy into your heart center, allowing your heart to expand. And the water energy activating the heart to connect to the mind, to the brain, to the cave of Brahma between your hemispheres. As your feminine energy rises up your spine, connecting to the third eye and the crown, feel the mind expanding beyond anything it has known before. This is where you set your intentions to become one with all the other enlightened souls, to reconnect and become part of the web of light on earth right now, to take responsibility for your path and for showing up, setting the intention to be all that you can be. Imagining this beautiful twilight between the sunrise and the stars still visible above you. As you breathe in deeply, feel your soul energy entering through your nose into the space behind your eyes. Feel that expansion as you invite in more and more energy, permitting more and more to purifying your vessel, your being on earth. And know that you are whole. Feel that wholeness as your soul enters your physical body, fills you to the brim, helping the physical body to expand, to incorporate. Keep breathing that in and feel that sensation. And just hold yourself in this space of peace and calm for as long as you need to, knowing that this is a safe space, you are protected, you are whole, you are cared for, you are loved. And just stay there as long as you need to. And only when you are ready, you bring yourself back to your room. But for now, lie against your dragon. Feel its warmth. Feel the cool night breeze and the warmth of the rising sun. And know that you've come home.